hasn't rewritten any lyrics of
not
people in the hip hop
and
world.
it's not a Piers Morgan. John Legend is not your slave. He doesn't have to do what
He's not my slave, but he can be a hypocrite, and he was.
Then let's stop talking about John Legend, because this is not about John Legend. Let's talk about the song Facts.
All right, but you
stop deflecting.
I'm
stop
not
deflecting.
That's weird, because this guy was talking about Donald Trump this whole time. That had nothing to do with the argument. He was deflecting. He was being emotional. He was asking for an apology. He's offended. And then now he is the same standard that he's applying to Piers Morgan. He doesn't apply to himself. The song Facts, and we gotta watch this video because it just gets a little crazy in here. But anyway, we're not gonna do the whole thing. We're gonna do at least half of it, but let's take a listen to this.
Well, this begs the question, has hip-hop gone woke? I spoke to Ben about his unlikely transformation into a rap heavyweight yesterday, and today I'm joined by the artist who actually crafted the song, Tom McDonald. So Tom, well, first of all, congratulations on this runaway smash hit. You're actually entitled to celebrate it because you are a bona fide rapper. Ben, I'm not quite so convinced by. Maybe a one-hit wonder. First of all, are you surprised by the backlash, or did you predict the backlash and that was one of the reasons you did the song in the first place?
Well, I've made a lot of sort of anti-woke anthems over the years, and there's always a certain degree of backlash that comes with it. So this one was sort of, you know, a lot of my relationship with the audience is call and response. I make a song, people respond in the way that they do, and then I respond again with the next song. So, you know, Facts with Ben is sort of the cap on a long line of anti-woke anthems that have been met with pretty heavy criticism.
People in the black rap community have come out and said, look, this is just blatant cultural appropriation racism, because you're accusing all their music that they produce of being about selling drugs, pushing guns, stripper poles, turning our sons into thugs, and so on. What do you say to that criticism?
I think that there's, you know, there's all types of rappers out there. There's black rappers and white rappers and Asian rappers and Indian rappers, all types of rappers. And I don't think that criticizing sort of the status quo of the genre or criticizing the prevalent content of the music, I don't agree that there's anything racist about that.
What?
Yeah. So we're gonna fast forward now. You heard Tom McDonald's side of the story. Now he's gonna bring somebody else to the picture, and I want you to notice what happens then.
Thanks for having me, Piers.
Okay, we heard from Tom, but now let's hear from the hip-hop establishment. Joining me now from New York is the highly respected rapper Talib Kweli, who also co-hosts the Midnight Miracle podcast with Dave Chappelle, and the DJ and digital media mogul DJ Vlad. Well, a very high-powered panel to respond. So let me start with you then, Talib. You and I have locked horns before on Twitter, as it used to be.
Yeah, you used to troll me on Twitter.
I think we both like to express ourselves forcefully, and absolutely no problem in doing that. What is your objection to this song?
Well, first of all, forgive my voice because I'm coming off tour. My voice sounds a little scratchy.
Forgive
I want
sounds
to
pretty cool,
congratulate Tom. Okay, cool. I want to congratulate Tom McDonald on his journey in sobriety, because that's very important to note. That part of his story is about his journey in sobriety. I do think it's very cowardly and very racist to blame hip hop for his addiction, as if white people don't have addiction issues. That's first and foremost. But if we're going to talk about the song Facts with Ben Shapiro, let's have a facts versus feelings conversation, which is something that Ben Shapiro always says. The hook of the song is "This ain't rap," which I agree with. It's not rap. It's not hip hop. Has nothing to do with rap. Pierce, you're wrong. The song has nothing to do with rap. This song, he says, money, cars, clothes. We ain't selling drugs. We ain't gonna overdose. We ain't pushing guns. We ain't promoting stripper poles. We won't turn your sons into thugs and your daughters into hoes. This is not facts. He completely erased all conscious hip hop. You see, I got this shirt from Tribe Called Quest, one of the greatest rap groups of all time. He erased what I do. He erased what my people do. And most of my friends don't rap about those things. Tom is lying about rap.
Well, yeah, but hang on. Okay, all right. Yeah, but hang on.
First of all, he... Wow. All right, what's wrong with this man's argument? We might be asking the question, right? What's wrong with this man's argument? First of all, while you can't blame all hip-hop all rappers, right, for some of the stuff. But the mainstream rap music, the one that people are watching, conscious rap, they might get like 1 million, 2 million views. Of course, we have a few that are way up there. But the regular rap music as a whole, can we black people be honest for a minute? Like, what do we promote? Money, sex, drugs, violence. This is the theme. Money, sex, drugs, violence. And if you look at that, for example, WAP. What is WAP about? Call me by your name by that guy, Little Nas X. What is this about? When you look at the mainstream rap music, all they're promoting is wickedness, is degeneracy. Like, if you can't even say that and be honest with yourself without condemning all rappers, it goes to show that you're just a dishonest person, or you're living under a rock. Because the average person can look at this and say, yeah, not all rappers are bad, but most of what comes down from rap music is destroying Black communities and even other communities as well. So let's just be fair. Doesn't mean Tom McDonald intended in any way to lambast all rap music, because he's a rapper himself. That makes no sense. So anyway,
we can even go back further. Look at NWA.
Yeah.
The police.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And until today, Black communities still have a problem with the police. Until today. Because these doctrines have been, inculcated in our minds. It's just be honest. Yeah.
So, I mean, you push these ideologies onto people enough, and drill it into their head enough, and now you're reaping the results.
Yeah.
And this is what Tom is pushing back against, and they don't like it.
It's true, though. It's not like the fact it's coming from Tom, and he has a white man. It's like he's not allowed to say that. Like, the truth is, this is what rap has been about for years. Like, rap hasn't added any value to Black communities. I'm gonna be very honest. Tell me how many rappers have built schools and hospitals and colleges for Black people. Tell me how many of them. How many of them have started restaurants so that Black people can find jobs? Like, I can't find any. Like, these guys make money and they live the same neighborhood that they are from, and go live into a white neighborhood. And they don't, I don't mean to be into colors and stuff, but the truth is, most rappers don't live in their neighborhood. You know why? Because their music is so destructive, they themselves would get killed by the people that they've sold their music to. That's how bad of a thing it is. And all these rappers who have died for the past couple years have not been killed by the hands of a white man, by the way. Black people are killing them. So I'm just saying, look at all of that, these different factors. You can understand why Tom McDonald said what he said, and he's 100% correct. Now, you don't have to sit here and think it like this is easy speaking from a general perspective. Is it all? No, you don't have to do that. Stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. The reason he's saying that is because the mainstream rap, what's on the screen, what is heard and being sung all the time,
and what's on the radio.
Yeah, that's on the radio. That's what they sound like. That's all. We don't care. We're not saying the conscious rap themselves are bad. They're not bad, but they're not the ones that people are paying attention to, though.
I mean, look at Snoop Dogg. He made an entire career out of smoking weed.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he's known for.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, that's something you want to glorify. That's just crazy to me, man. The immorality is so bad. It's so bad.
I don't think he's saying all rappers do. He made a point of saying he doesn't mean all rappers or all hip hop stars. But there's no doubt some do. There's no doubt some do that.
He made a point, of course. And there's some country music artists and heavy metal artists that participate in violent and sexual content.
Here's the difference, buddy. Some might have said that in their songs, but the vast majority is not promoting that. If you listen to the average country song, they are not talking like this. Now, some country artists may have done things that are bad. Well, welcome to the world of a sinful people, because everybody commits sin. And if I tell you what church people do, you might be even shocker. But here's the thing. What he is applying here is so flawed. It goes to show that this man is not thinking. You can't compare country music, even heavy metal, even though you may have disagreement about that, the stuff that they do in worship and so on, and different demonic stuff, they don't even do remotely close to the kind of stuff that we push in rap music. They're not even remotely close. Okay, so just to be fair, this is a dishonest answer. But again, let's let him continue though.
But I would never make a song, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't specify that he meant some rap in the song. He specified that on your show when you question him. But on the song, he's saying, I'm trying to be offensive and I'm hoping to upset people. So guess what? As a black man who does hip hop, I'm offended. If you were trying to offend me, well, then you did a good job. To claim that rap or art is a cause of violence and or cause of addiction in his life is irresponsible and hypocritical. When a bomb drops in a nation, it falls on the just and the unjust. I watched a movie called Oppenheimer last night about a white man who made an atomic bomb that dropped on Japanese people because another white man genocided 6 million Jewish people. Killers of the Flower Moon is a great movie about a white men who go and pillage and steal from Native American people. Yesterday, a Trump fan from Philly decapitated his father because his father was voting for Joe Biden. That's like vanilla ISIS. You can't tell me that in the culture that he claims that he stands for, that there's no violence and sex. You can't tell me that. Anyone
This guy, do you get the sense that this man is very racist as well? He's got a problem with white people.
Oh yeah. Oh,
He magnifies.
racist.
He magnifies a number of historical things that happened by the hands of white people. And by all means, we can point our fingers to that. And I think what was done to the black community and filling our black communities with drugs and everything, that was all bad. But guess what? Guess who took the drug and spread it though? Black people. And also, when you're talking about somebody attack, I don't know where Trump comes into the picture because this has nothing to do with Trump. It goes to show that this man is completely disconnected from the argument. But the thing is, even if the person did what they did because of Trump, because they love Trump, you can't blame Trump for that. You can't blame white people for that. That's a person's choice and decision, and they were dealing with some issues. If you were to compare the level of violence done by the hands of black people to other black people, so how come you don't mention that in your discussion?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the level of violence perpetrated from blacks toward whites. It's over 70 something percent comparing to whites toward black. It's actually under 20. So if you were to compare even the stats, it goes to show black people are more violent toward themselves, more violent toward white people, more violent toward Chinese. It goes to show our way of thinking about humanity, even of ourselves, thanks to hip hop. You guys are part of the reasons why we are so crooked in our thinking. I mean, no one's saying all rap music are responsible for this because people have to make their decisions. But the truth of the matter is, if you're indoctrinating the kid from childbirth, you keep telling them, this is what it likes to be a man. This is how you behave. When you're mad with somebody, you pull the trigger. When you got these issues, you sell the dope. You see the cops, you run from them. You don't you teach them not to respect authority, to disrespect women. You call the women the B word, and you promote all kind of violence. And then when they start acting up like that, you say, oh, that's irresponsible. It's not their fault. No, it is your fault. In part, of course, not fully, but it is your fault. You told these kids, you brainwashed them from their youth. You told them this is how they should behave. And when they start acting like that, you acting like you don't want to take responsibility for your sins. Excuse me, you did do it. Mm-hmm. It's a fact. Anyway, these people are crazy, man.
And they've been doing it for generations. That's the thing. And they don't want to take personal responsibility for their actions.
That's the thing. Black communities will never rise until they learn to confront hip hop. I'm saying this, you can document me. One of the reasons why black communities are in the condition that they are is due to violent, dark version of rap music. I don't want to condemn all rap because the indoctrination, that's where it happens. It's in the teachings. It is in the messaging that we are in this condition. It is not because we are lazy, we are bad. No, you speak to the average black man who moves from black communities, from these neighborhoods, they start opening business. They start making things happen. They get into a college education. And if you keep their husband, if you keep their mother and wives together, those kids tend to prosper. But if you stay in that environment, study shows you don't do well. I had to leave. I was in Brooklyn, New York. I had to pack up my bag. I'm like, no. I realized all my friends were acting crazy. And I packed up my bag and left. I didn't even say goodbye. I'm so serious. It was one day I just packed up my stuff and I said, I'm moving to Pennsylvania with my aunt and I will not sit at these guys' feet anymore because I realized these guys were going down into the crypt. They were becoming gangsters and they were my friends. I'm like, you know what? They had influence on me. I said, my best chance is to escape. And I packed up my bag and left, came to PA, changed my phone number. This is how I escaped from that. If I stayed there and trying to be nice and trying to be kind, and I probably would be behind bars right now because they had me pierce my ears. I was close to getting some tattoos. At this time, I didn't even know Jesus. It was only a matter of time before I start pulling the trigger. But you got to escape that environment or else you're doomed. It's that dangerous of a thing because influence is power. And people don't know this is a joke. It's not a joke. These kids are under serious negative demonic influence. They're not bad children. They're just under a place where they become menace to society because of where they're from. It's a fact. That you can't lie about that. That's the truth.
And Megan here has a point. That you are what you eat. It's like what you intake is whether or not your parents or other adults, peers, movies, TVs, music, everything. Whatever you take in visually, audibly, whatever you decide to listen to, watch, and whatever the case may be, that's going to influence your behaviors, your attitude, your lifestyle. Point blank, period.
Yeah, you are what you eat. The Bible says, as the man thinks in his heart, so is he.
Exactly.
So, there you go. Thank you, Megan.
He claims that he stands for, that there's no violence in sex. You can't tell me that. Anyone who supports Trump, like Tom McDonald does in his music, after Trump's mugshot, after January 6th, after this man has been indicted for rape and has 91 felonies, you can't tell me about Blue Lives Matter. You can't tell me that you're about law and order. You're being a hypocrite.
Okay, powerful words. DJ Vlad, you've been sitting there patiently. What do you make of all this?
I mean, I agree somewhat with Talib Kweli, who's also a friend of mine. The problem is that when you talk about rap and you want to talk about the gangster lyrics, the violent lyrics, the drug lyrics, when you look at rap as a whole, when you look at the biggest rappers in the world right now, Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, these guys aren't rapping about drugs. They're not talking about violence. They're not talking about beating women or whatever else. And I think a lot of times when you have these songs that try to generalize these types of things, it kind of, it oversimplifies things and it gives rap in general a bad name. So it's kind of annoying. And, listening to the song, on face value, it doesn't sound like he's really saying anything wrong. But a lot of times when you have these sort of white supremacist type of sayings, like, for example, all lives matter, from the outside looking in, of course, all lives matter. But it's really a shot at Black Lives Matter and kind of trying to undermine that type of thing. So I really don't like, what we call in hip hop sneak dissing. And I feel the song has a lot of sneak dissing.
Talib, would it be fair to say that hip hop has moved to a, for want of a better word, a better place? That the biggest stars no longer.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
Causal.
What's wrong with all lives matter? Does that not include Black lives too? Am I missing something here?
Because if you say all lives matter, you're denying Black Lives Matter. That's the argument.
But all lives, everyone, that includes all lives, including Black lives. What's so bad about that?
There's nothing wrong with that if you're looking at it from a logical standpoint. But what they all try to argue is, as you already know, I'm just preaching to the choir here. Black Lives Matter exclude everybody else. It does. Because you, by the nature of putting a color on lives, you automatically exclude everybody else. Although I get what you're trying to say from the perspective that, violence and so on toward blacks. But I think that message should be louder in black communities because more violence are done by the hands of black communities to black people. That's what they're showing. So if Black Lives Matter, you should be preaching that to black people before you go anywhere else, because what the cops were doing were not anything remotely close to what happens on a regular basis in black communities by the hands of gangsters and so on. Even innocent lives have been taken. I mean, if you watch the news long enough, you will realize there's a lot of violence in these communities, in Philly, in Chicago. If you just watch what's happening, it's pretty tragic and disastrous. So going back to what you said, yeah, all lives do matter. And that will also include black people. Yeah. Right? Cops also include in that, white people include in that, even the Chinese too, because they themselves experiencing a number of violence from black people too. So what's up with that?
Yeah. So I don't see a problem with all lives matter. Like it's legitimately including everyone, including black people.
Yeah.
Like that and I'm sorry, his like underhanded or whatever hidden disc.
Yeah,
bull crap. It's like, shut up. Come on now. I mean, for crying out loud, we got Megan Thee Stallion
Oh
and
no.
Cardi B as like the #1 hip hop artist for how long?
Yeah.
With WAP.
Yeah.
How long was that in the #1 Billboard slot?
For a while.
Before Tom McDonald came along and knocked them off their pedestal?
I know. And you tell me how much value these women, how much value do they add to community, to the world? How does rap, how does Sexy Red, how do these women add anything of value to your family, your future, your spirituality? What do they add to the country? Please tell me.
Yeah. Like, and who he's talking about is pretty much irrelevant at this point in the hip hop community.
Mm-hmm.
They're just about phased out.
Yeah.
With all the new artists coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So his argument is kind of pointless as far as I'm concerned.
Very much so. Oh, it gets worse. Watch this.
The offense, and actually it's changed. Is that accurate?
See, I don't think that this should be a conversation with 3 white people and 1 black person about this.
That's what I mean. Yo, you know how dumb you gotta be to say something like that? How racist you got to be? Listen to the question again. Listen to what he said. That's just crazy to me.
And actually it's changed. Is that accurate?
See, I don't think that this should be a conversation with 3 white people and 1 black person about the state of hip hop and a referendum on hip hop. I think that's the wrong direction to go. One more thing I'm gonna say about Donald Trump is that Tom McDonald is an immigrant. Donald Trump just said immigrants are poisoning our blood here in America. Donald Trump uses white nationalist rhetoric.
Hold up.
This guy's been watching MSNBC and CNN. You could tell the kind of stuff he's repeating the same lies from the mainstream media. Go ahead.
Oh God, this guy makes my brain hurt. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord
this
Jesus.
conversation should not be happening between 1 black man and 3 white people. What do you mean by that, brother? Like, what's wrong with white people cannot have an opinion on hip hop because of their skin color? You know how many white rappers we have? One of the greatest rappers ever lived is Eminem. Oh, guess what skin color he is? There's a lot of white rappers out there who's done amazing songs. I mean, even Mike Miller, even though he lost his life in a very drastic way, and he was pushing a lot of drugs in the black communities and so on, but nevertheless, he was big. So again, I don't know.
Then you have people like Upchurch, Adam Calhoun.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Jelly Roll.
You don't consider them rappers because of their skin color, so you're a racist. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Point blank. Period. Just face it. You're a racist, dude.
He's ridiculous, yo. He's ridiculous. Oh my goodness.
And now he wants to play the immigrant card. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. There's a difference between illegal immigrant and legal immigrant.
Exactly.
Tom did it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
The problem Trump has is with those who don't do it the right way.
Yeah.
You have to learn to be able to distinguish the difference.
Yeah. But the proof is in the pudding now. Have you seen the level of violence that's going on as a result of illegal migration? These guys are not. They are creating all kind of chaos in society. This is why the stuff that happened in New York with, 7-something of them beat 2 cops. The reason why people are talking about this is because this is the result of illegal migrants. Go ahead.
Exactly. I mean, that's my whole thing is it's like, dude, Tom came here legally and he did it the right way. Now we have all these illegals flooding over and crime is skyrocketing and they're trying to beat up cops. We had a cop almost go to jail because he had to defend himself against these guys. It's like, are you crazy? Am I taking crazy pills? Like what planet am I on right now? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Coming from obviously someone who's like, I can tell you're like,
he is out
the
of his
poster child for black racism.
Yes, he surely is.
Like,
but you could tell where he got his substance from too. The kind of media he indulges, because some of the things he's talking about here, like, are exactly the stuff I hear from MSNBC, CNN, ABC, these news that are completely left wing in their thinking. And he's like, and again, I'm still asking the question though, like, what does Donald Trump has to do with this conversation?
Not a thing. Nothing. Who brought Donald Trump into this at all?
That is crazy. Why are you inserting Trump in the conversation? Trump didn't do any music. He had nothing to do with the rap song.
And like Megan says, I guarantee you, Tom has more respect and love for this country than this guy does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I don't understand this complaining attitude, ungrateful spirit, because here is a man who is a rapper who just literally had a concert and he's talking about how his voice and he's at a concert. You gotta let us know about that. Okay, fine. You're making millions of dollars. This guy is up there in rap music, but you're complaining like you have nothing going for yourself in the greatest country in the world. No matter how you feel about the United States, it's still one of the best countries in the world with all the craziness we got going on. So here is this guy complaining, yet he is making money off rap music. Here's another thing. You know who listens to your music? Oh, I got news for you. Over 85% of rap music is being consumed by white people. Did you know that? Because black people, most of us, I hate to lie about this, but it's true. I don't mean to say this. We download this stuff for free. We oftentimes don't purchase this stuff. Okay. Yeah. It's true. They don't purchase it. They download it. Yeah, they bootlegged the thing. And also the black community is only about 13%. So majority of who is consuming your stuff are white people. So who are you speaking against? You're speaking against your own fan base.
This dude's just an NPC.
Sure, yes.
And I don't know if you know what that means, but he's a non-player character.
Yeah, NPC, yeah.
So I mean, like he's a freaking joke. I think he's trying to play another Malcolm X and bring Black Panther type times, and I don't know what he's going for here, but like I mean, come on, dude.
But you know, the thing is, there was this video.
Your charade.
There was this video. I think Tyrese was talking. No, it wasn't Tyrese. It was this rapper, not rapper, basketball player. He played for New York. He had a lot of tattoos and so on. But if I think of his name, I'll put it back up. But what he was saying was that without all the money that black people have, they could have fixed black communities 100 times. They would go to the strip club and spend $200,000 on strippers just like that every single night. But how many schools have you built? I know LeBron James did a little something, even though the school is not the best, but at least he tried. How many schools, how many colleges, how many hospitals, how many businesses, how many loans are you, do you own any bank where you're allowing people to come get something from you that they can actually start something? Like if these rappers, including just basketball players alone, will put their head together, they can fix black communities with a few $1 million. These guys worth so much money, but they don't invest in their own people, but they want to complain about Donald Trump. I'm like, bro, you a liar. Have you noticed what the Indian families do, what the Mexican do when they come here? They team up. They come together and they help each other out. In the Indian families, you can actually go to different parts. If you're from India, you can actually go get loans from them and start start a food store. You can start a restaurant, or you can even own a gas station as a result of that, even though you came with no money whatsoever. You know why? Because they have a work in business. They have this mindset of building. That's not the mindset we have. It's just complaining and explaining and whining, but you're not addressing real issues to help black people at all. And you're just defying dark version of hip hop as if it doesn't exist. It does exist. It's deadly. It has an impact on our youth. I know what I'm talking about. I can tell you young people from my church who are doing just fine spiritually, when they begin to listen to your music, they left. They are out in the street. They are out in the streets. You can even get their attention. We have two of them that I met the other day. He was part of our youth program. You know what he's doing now? He is actually taking drugs in the streets of Reading. Where did you get the idea from? This guy, I was trying to talk to him. He's just, oh, it's Pastor James. Oh, I'm sorry. You can see me like this. I'm like, man, it's okay. He runs away. Do you know why this happens? Because of messages like this. These guys are a joke, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is it kills me because they don't realize how much damage they're actually doing.
Yeah,
And I was watching a video the other day where the guy who broke it down, the white populace gets $1 and they increase their wealth by like 8-fold.
yeah.
The Chinese populace gets $1 and they increase their wealth by like 16-fold.
Yeah.
The Jewish populace gets theirs and they increase it by like 24-fold.
Yeah.
You know, the black community gets $1 and it's gone the same day.
It doesn't bounce.
It doesn't bounce.
Yeah, his name is Dr. There it is. Actually, I have it here. I did share it on my
single black community in
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
40 years in jail for places too, the best. And once you build that economy, spend your money with your own people, make it bounce 8 to 10 times. In this country right now, Hispanics, let's take Hispanics. Hispanics bounce their money on an average of 6 to 7 times in Mexican time. Little Havana, little Cuba. White folks typically bounce their money 8 to 12 times. Arabs bounce and Arabs and Asians bounce their money about 13 or 14 times. Jews bounce their money about 18 times. Black money doesn't bounce once. As soon as a black person gets paid, he runs straight to somebody else's business and give them their money. That means they go bankrupt every night. Every black neighborhood goes bankrupt every night at 7 o'clock. Stays bankrupt.
You see, that's the truth right there. I bet if Tom McDonald said that, you would call him racist.
Yeah. and it's it's a hard truth, but I mean,
hard pill to swallow.
it is a truth, and that's something that he needs to figure out and learn to contend with, because until that gets fixed, nothing's going to change.
Nothing at all.
Like back in when we did the review of the documentary, when there was Black Wall Street, the black communities were prospering and thriving.
Yeah.
But now you turn around and came out with all this hip hop and others, and you didn't have that back then.
Nope.
What did you have? You had blues, you had jazz.
Yep.
Which, granted, some of it may have been Little Hold'em, drove blue, depressing at times, but
for the most part,
it was wholesome.
Yeah, it wasn't degeneracy. Yeah, I think what Roque said here, and it's true, man. Meanwhile, the Haitians and Black Africans overseas be laughing at y'all African Americans. It's true. Even those
would love to trade places.
Yeah, but not only that, but the ones that are here, most Caribbeans that are here are doing fine. Like you go to the average colleges, and even they were doing a study recently about how many black doctors are in school. Over 90% of them were Caribbean blacks. They were not Black Americans. Very few were Black Americans, and the ones who were Black Americans, they found another component that was crucial. They had a mother and a father in the home. And I'm like, there we go again. So most Black families will do fine if mommy and daddy stay together. And again, we go back to some political stuff here, because obviously there's been an attack on the Black family, but it's been perpetuated by rap music as well. So yeah, going back to what Roque said here, most people who are coming from different parts of the world, people like myself, I don't consider myself a successful great man. All I simply know is that I'm not doing this. I'm not pulling no trigger. Praise God for his grace and mercy in my life. But we have amazing families. All of our families are doing fine. Some of these issues these guys are talking about, we don't even know them. So it's not because we're better than you. I'm just saying God has had mercy on our souls, and he's taught us better, and we're making better decisions as well. So that's a fact. Argue all you want. Even where I live now, every stores that are owned, either phone stores and so on, they are owned by some Black Caribbeans. It's either Hispanics or Blacks or whites. I have seen almost zero store owners in where I'm in, just in Pennsylvania alone. I have not experienced a single one that are actually Black Americans. Cannot find one. Doesn't mean they don't exist, but I'm just saying where I'm at, it's just not happening. The ones that are business minded.
Well, even the ones that did exist ended up getting burned down during the Summer of Love.
Yeah.
I mean,
Black Lives Matter. Does it? Really?
Let's be honest. I mean, if we're going to be honest about it.
You destroy the black businesses in the process of you trying to protest against injustice, and you do injustice to the black businesses themselves. That's just crazy to me. That's a crazy backward logic. Wow, let's digest a few more of his stuff because he keeps going.
Poisoning our blood here in America. Donald Trump uses white nationalist rhetoric from Mein Kampf and Hitler all the time, and this guy is a supporter of his.
Yeah,
this song is called Facts.
Talib, hang on. Listen, you can have your views about Donald Trump. That's fine. And by the way, you can say.
No, I said, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. No, I'm done with that. That's why I was going to the song.
I get it, but the idea that I'm not allowed to, or DJ Vlad isn't allowed to comment about hip hop or rap is ridiculous.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
basically
that.
said
DJ
it.
Vlad.
You did say that. You at least applied it. That's what you implied.
That's exactly what you said. The fact that we're here having a discussion about hip hop and rap with 3 white dudes and 1 black guy is ridiculous.
It shouldn't be happening. That means those white people should not have an opinion on this situation.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's exactly what was implied.
He's putting his foot in his mouth here. It's crazy, man. It's dishonest.
Hip hop or rap is ridiculous.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
basically said
DJ
it.
Vlad. No, I didn't. Let me be clear. DJ Vlad is a controversial figure in our culture. A lot of people accuse him of being a culture vulture. That is not a criticism that I personally agree with, although I do understand the argument. I work with, unbeknownst to a lot of people, I've done more songs with white rappers than any rapper you can name, any black rapper you can name. My next single is featuring Mac Miller, rest in peace. I work with Macklemore. I work with R.A. the Rugged Man. There's no problem with white people in hip hop. There's a problem with racist white people in hip hop. And Tom McDonald's song is racist and is factually incorrect. And I could break down what's factually incorrect in the song Facts. And I could break down how Ben Shapiro started his career by saying rap isn't music. So you got somebody featured on your song who tweeted in 2019, fact, rap isn't music. And if you think it is, you're stupid. Well, that person is clearly not an anti-racist, intelligent person. Tom McDonald owes the hip hop community an apology for putting someone on a song that in 2009.
I can tell you that's not going to happen. I can guarantee you that. You need to apologize or we're going to cancel you. This is the stuff with the left. They like to wash your character. They like to mop the floor with your character. You got to come here and apologize to us.
He had to go back to 2009. He had to dig that far back to find something that he said.
Yeah.
It's like, what? People's opinions can't change over time?
Yeah.
I mean, and the only apology you're going to get are 2 fingers on each of Tom's hands.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
I know exactly what you mean. This guy is funny, man. He's asking for an apology from Tom McDonald. Yo, you crazy.
It just ain't gonna happen, bro.
That person is clearly not an anti-racist, intelligent person. Tom McDonald owes the hip hop community an apology for putting someone on a song that in 2009, writing for a white nationalist site, Breitbart, wrote an article saying rap is crap. These people don't respect hip hop. Tom McDonald is making rap for people.
Well, I think you're missing. Look, I played some of this stuff back to Ben Shapiro yesterday. I think you're slightly missing the point. He's lampooning the world of rap and hip hop.
Oh, I'm not missing the point.
You think there's a lot of hypocrisy and double standard there?
I'm very clear that Ben Shapiro is lampooning hip hop. I'm very clear about that. I'm not under any.
But even you, Talib, look, even you must admit when John Legend goes out of his way to rewrite the lyrics to
Hold on a second. Because of the media. He just got called out and then turned around and backtracked his own argument just to turn around and appear that he was like, oh, I'm not wrong about this.
He's canceling.
Like, dude, you just said one thing and then turn around and backtrack on what you just said to say that that's not what you said. What? No.
How
In what world did you not just say what you just said? It's on the internet.
Our man is confused right now. He is very confused.
dude's lost in the sauce. Is what it is. Okay, let's just face facts. That dude is lost in the sauce.
Yep. Let's let him finish.
Me Too campaign because he thinks it's about sexual assault, but doesn't rewrite any lyrics from any hip hop or rap song in the last 50 years. You got to admit there is a ridiculous double standard there, isn't there?
I couldn't disagree more. I completely disagree. with
Really?
that, because I think you're removing all.
You got to admit there is a ridiculous double standard there, isn't there?
I couldn't disagree more. I completely disagree.
Really?
With that, because I think you're removing all social, political, and historical context that goes into creating hip hop and equating it with the social, political context that
You
goes into
genuinely
creating a
think
Christmas
"Baby It's
song.
Cold Outside" is more offensive than anything that the
I didn't
hip-hop...
say that.
Well, you implied it.
I didn't say that. I said no. I didn't imply it. I said you are removing context to make a false equivalency.
No, the
Please don't-
context is very
please don't
straightforward.
misquote
John
me.
Legend chose to rewrite the lyrics to "Baby It's Cold
No,
Outside,"
I understand.
but he didn't
Pierce,
rewrite
Pierce,
any of the
Pierce.
offensive, misogynist, violent
Pierce,
lyrics of his friends in the rap world.
Pierce, I get that that's how you feel, but your feelings
It's not a
ain't facts.
feeling; it's a
And
fact.
the facts is, oh no, that's not. Well, it's not a fact that
It's a
problem
fact
that
that
he did
John
that.
Legend
That's a
hasn't
feeling.
rewritten any
And
lyrics
it's
to
not a
people in the
fact
hip hop
and
world.
it's not a. Pierce Morgan, John Legend is not your slave. He doesn't have to do what
He's
you
not my
a
slave, but he
fact.
can be. A...
Oh my goodness, this guy is wild. Yo, he said.
Dude has no argument when he gets his feet put to the fire.
Do you notice what he does? He pulled the racism card every time he is cornered. They goes to show when a man has no substance.
But the problem is Pierce Morgan don't care.
He doesn't care about that. And I love Pierce Morgan for this alone. He presses people when others will just leave them and give them a green pass. He said John Legend is not your slave. Yeah, well, John Legend is guilty of changing lyrics that doesn't fit his supposed narrative. When you have millions of rap songs that are promoting ungodly stuff, he sings them, he raps them. He doesn't care about that. That is a double standard. To call that out doesn't mean he has to be your slave. That's just stupid. That's just dumb. Oh, when a man speaks like that, he loses me. He loses me because you're not being fair to the argument here.
He didn't just lose you. He lost the argument, period. Like, dude, come on, man.
Slave. No, that has nothing to do with slavery. This is an argument we're talking about here.
It's a fact.
And the facts is, oh no, that's not. Well, it's not a fact that
It's a fact that John Legend hasn't rewritten any lyrics to people in the hip hop world.
And it's not a. Pierce Morgan, John Legend is not your slave. He doesn't have to do what you
He's not my slave, but he can be a hypocrite, and he was.
Then let's stop talking about John Legend because this is not about John Legend. Let's talk about the song facts.
All right, but you
stop deflecting.
I'm
stop
not deflecting.
deflecting.
That's weird because this guy was talking about Donald Trump this whole time. That had nothing to do with the argument. He was deflecting. He was being emotional. He was asking for an apology. He's offended, and then now he is the same standard that is applying to Pierce Morgan. He doesn't apply to himself. It goes to show, man, is this?
I was gonna say when he gets called to the mat, it's like, what now? But dude, you're getting called out to the mat, and you can't take the heat you've been putting out. You wanted the smoke, now you're getting the heat.
Yeah, you're getting the heat now. You're running and hiding and ducking. He wasn't ready for this conversation. He didn't know what was coming at him. I love people for this. Yeah, it kind of corners you a little bit. I love that. Oh, now he's talking about you can deflect. You've been deflecting this whole argument. This whole time you've been deflecting from the original discussion. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's not my slave, but he can be a hypocrite, and he was.
Then let's stop talking about John Legend because this is not about John Legend. Let's talk about the song facts.
All right, but you
stop deflecting.
I'm
stop
not deflecting,
and let's talk about the song facts.
Okay.
Okay, so can we get back to the song facts?
Let me bring in DJ Vlad. He's been very
lyric.
Talib, there's three of us here. We bring in DJ Vlad. You apparently, DJ Vlad, you're a culture vulture. What does that mean, first of all?
I mean, from my point of view, I think that's a slang for pretty much any white person in hip hop. I've seen every prominent white person in hip hop being called a culture vulture, from Steve Rifkin to Leor Cohen to Eminem to Mac Miller.
Black people get called culture vultures. Also, black people get called culture vultures.
No, they don't. Black people can do anything and get away with it in this.
You notice he knows he's full of crap because he has to look away.
Yeah, because he knows he's lying. He's not even a good liar. He said
Like,
black people are called
he's
culture vulture.
terrible at
Which
it.
culture?
He's like,
Which culture
oh,
vulture? Which culture has black people stolen?
yeah.
Which one are they being blamed for stealing? This guy is lying, man.
And
He's so dishonest.
name one black person that got called a culture
Yeah,
vulture for
yeah.
stealing rap and hip hop.
Please, none.
Yeah.
Maybe Easy referring to the what's his name, the black country artist. Is it more? What's his name? Darius something. Yeah, I think his name is Darius. But anyway,
I don't know.
you know,
I don't think anybody had any problem with any black country singer.
no. Actually, if you look them up, there's not too many black country artists. I have had a few on my channel. There were some ladies as well.
I
Yeah,
mean, maybe in their early days of country, they may have like Charlie Pride,
yeah.
but
Charlie Pride, Tina Turner, and also Darius Rucker is one. Is a huge.
I really wouldn't consider Tina Turner a country
Yeah,
singer.
yeah. She's more like along rock and so on, right? So
Yeah.
Ray Charles is not so much. It's more like
No.
jazz. But yeah, I think Darius Rucker is a country artist who is very famous. I have never heard him complaining about racism.
No.
And he's never been called a culture vulture. This is where your skills and your talent matter. This is when you're looking at people from the content of their character into the color of their skin. Because you're like,
Yeah.
does he do a good job at the thing? Does he have the ability to do it? You know, it doesn't matter what his skin color is. If he can rap, let him rap. If he can sing, let him sing. It's simple as that. This is the logic.
Yeah, you
But
either
no.
have it or you don't.
Yeah, it's simple as that. But instead, he's focusing on the color of the individual. It goes to show the level of racism that's behind the discussion here. You know.
Also,
Mac
black
Miller,
people. Also, black people get called culture vultures. Also, black people get called culture vultures in this culture.
See, it doesn't. It's
Not just
not.
white
It's
people,
not
also
skin color specific. You can be a black
No, it's
or
not.
white
It's not. It's
culture
not.
vulture. Right. Okay. All
It's
right.
not. Absolutely.
Am I a
Absolutely.
culture vulture?
but white people do get it. White people do get a little heavier than others, and I've never minded being.
That's
called.
right,
For
because
me,
white
it's
people.
fine.
That's
I'm not
that's
so much.
exactly
I-
that's
I-
exactly right,
yeah.
because white people are the dominant group. That's how it goes. Racism is not logical or convenient for anybody. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
white
I-
people
I
aren't the
don't mind.
dominant
My
group in music. I mean,
contribution-
hang on. White people are not the dominant group in music anymore. I would say most of the
Yes, they
biggest
are.
stars
Yes,
in the
they are.
world right
Yes,
now
they
are not white.
White people own all of the record companies. White people own all of the record companies, Pierce. That's true.
Well, I
White
had that
people,
conversation
the
with
6 major
Kanye.
labels-
I had that conversation with Kanye, and he felt very strongly about it. And I had that conversation with him. And
I agree with him about this part. But the whites you're talking about are the 3-letter words, right? The JEWs. Yeah, that is a problem, and I've had an issue with that too. It's kind of like you guys, the same people who own the record companies are actually funding rap music. They are funding the prisons. So it goes to show that you just want to lock our people up, you know. So
I
there's
don't
some
know.
truth, some truth to that argument. Yeah.
Who owns Def Jam? I thought Dre did.
I don't know. Good question. I have no idea.
I thought Dr. Dre
But-
and Snoop Dogg were like co-owners of Def Jam Records.
But there's also a monopoly in these records, right? There's like Universal Records. There's a whole bunch of them. There's Sony Records. So there's like
Right,
even
like the major labels like
The major
Sony.
labels,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I think we can stop this guy. He's
And I also know that there's ICP's label is completely independent as well.
yeah.
So I mean,